You step into an elevator, the doors slide shut, and your heart is suddenly pounding. You don't know why, but you didn't decide to feel that. For a second, there's just a signal in your chest with no name on it, nervous, excited, or maybe you took the stairs. Something inside you noticed that heartbeat before the thinking part of you did. Quick, what is your breathing doing right now? You just checked, didn't you? That's because you have a whole sense pointed inward, and almost nobody has a name for it. Think about the 5 senses you got taught in school. Sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch. Every one of them reads the world outside you. But there's a second channel, and it only reads what's inside. Your heartbeat, your breath, a full stomach, your temperature, the moment you need to pee. That inward sense has a name. It's called interoception. Your body's live, moment-by-moment map of itself. And honestly, calling it the 6th sense is just a nickname. Add balance, add knowing where your arms are without looking, and you're already past 5. But the real shock isn't the number. It's that you've been running this sense every second of your life, and nobody ever told you it was there. That pounding heart in the elevator, that was it. That was interoception, working away under everything the whole time. So here's where it gets strange. This sense doesn't actually measure your body. It does something a lot weirder than that. To see the trick, follow the wiring. Your organs talk to your brain mostly through one thick cable, called the vagus nerve. Now the surprise. Around 80% of that cable runs the wrong way, up from body to brain. It mostly listens, and it barely gives orders. So most of that wiring is your brain quietly eavesdropping on your organs, all day long, far below anything you'd notice. And the loudest voice on that line isn't the one you'd guess. It's your gut. Your gut runs its own dense web of nerve cells. Hundreds of millions of them, more than you've got in your spinal cord. People call it the second brain, but that's just a nickname for the sheer number of neurons, not a mind. It runs your digestion, and it has no opinions about your life. So picture it. A flood of raw signals from heart, gut, and breath, all pouring up that one cable toward a single place. That place is a fold of the brain called the insula. This is roughly where all those body signals get turned into, how do I feel right now? But be careful. There's no single magic spot that is your feelings. Think of the insula more as the room where the reading gets put together. Now for the twist that changes everything. Your brain doesn't sit around waiting for your body to report in. Instead, it runs a prediction, a best guess of what your body is about to be doing, fired off before the real signal even arrives. Then the real signals come back. And here's the part that flips it. Your brain mostly just checks them against the guess, and only bothers to update when the two don't match. So that instrument panel you imagined, reading your organs, it was never really a meter. It's a control room making predictions. Your brain is guessing your body, which leaves one enormous question. If your read of your own body is a guess, then what on earth are your feelings built on top of it? The story you were handed goes like this. Something happens, and an emotion fires, like someone pressed a button inside you. But a growing, influential theory says it runs the other way around, and it starts down in the body. Strip a feeling all the way down, and the raw bodily part is just arousal. A fast heart, a tight chest, a churn in your stomach, with no label on it at all. Arousal is a volume knob, not a word. That same surge could turn into a dozen completely different feelings. It's the nameless thing you felt in that elevator. So what hands it the word? Context and memory. Your brain quietly asks, where am I? And what usually happens to me here? Then it takes the guess about your body, adds the situation you're in, and builds the emotion right there on the spot. Which means the exact same pounding heart becomes fear on a dark, empty street, or excitement on a first date. Say it plainly. What you feel is partly a story your brain is telling about your organs. But did anyone ever actually catch this happening out in the real world? They did about 60 years ago on a shaky bridge. The setup was simple. The same woman met men either on a terrifying swaying rope bridge or on a safe, sturdy low one. On the scary bridge, about half the men called her afterward, against barely 1 in 8 on the safe one. Their racing heart fear had quietly been reread as attraction. Same buzz in the body, different labels slapped on it. The signal was identical, only the story changed. Now the honest part. This whole emotions are built idea is the leading view reshaping the field, but it isn't settled, and the older camp still pushes back. Which opens a darker question. If a feeling is just a guess plus a story, then what happens when the guess gets it wrong? Most days the guess is close enough, and you never notice a thing. But every now and then, the read misfires, a totally harmless blip, like a skipped heartbeat or a tight chest, gets read as danger, and it gets cruel. That spike of fear becomes its own evidence. The fear feels like even more danger, which spikes the fear again. Round and round it goes, feeding itself. And that loop is one way an ordinary body signal can tip over into panic. To be fair to the science, a noisy off-read of your body is linked to anxiety. It looks like a feedback loop, not a proven one-way cause. It gets harder when you feel the signals loud and clear but can't name them. A loud body with no labels is exactly where your brain reaches for the worst guess. But a guess that can go wrong is also a guess you might get better at. This reading of your body isn't carved in stone. Early small studies are testing whether practicing this can calm the loop. It's promising. It is not a cure, and it is not advice. Step back for a moment and just sit with that. Every single second, a sense you were never taught is guessing your insides and helping write the feelings you live by. So next time your heart pounds in an elevator, try one thing. Pause for just a second before you decide what to call it. Because that little pause is you reading your own body, and that might be where you start telling a different story.